What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react to this video here, which says the European siren is scientifically proven to be better. Really? A siren? Like the annoying sound that an ambulance makes is better in Europe. Okay, I mean, to be honest, I've never thought about this before. Does that mean that the sirens here in the U.S. are worse, and what does that even mean? So today, I really want to check out this video here by half as interesting and learn more about this. So let's take a look.
If you've ever been in New York City, you've probably heard this sound.
What?
Wait, sorry, wrong one. I meant to play this.
Okay. They just had to squeeze that little joke in? Okay. I mean, is it even a joke? If you've been to New York City, you've heard screaming, and you've probably heard worse than that.
Or wait, sorry, wrong one. I meant to play this.
Yes, so that's what any siren that I've ever heard in my whole life, that's what they usually sound like, just like that. Are you saying that they sound different in Europe? And somehow, like, they're better? Like, they're louder? Or what?
In New York City, the wailing siren is part of the symphony of the streets. It's an icon of the city, but like many of New York's icons, Times Square, the subway system, and Rudy Giuliani, it sucks. But it doesn't have to.
It sucks. I mean, anywhere in the United States, you hear a siren that sounds like this. You don't have to just be in New York City. And I've always thought that it's, perfectly fine. Like, it does the job, you can hear it. It's annoying. It's loud. And how do you make that better? Like, what are we doing wrong? This guy even says that our siren sucks. Does it really suck?
This is a European siren. If you've ever been to Europe...
What? That is interesting. That's very different. Huh. Well, that certainly answers my question with, like, how can one siren be worse or one be better? Because to me, it's just like you're trying to create a really annoying sound that's very noticeable so people are aware, for an ambulance or police or something. So I thought our siren was pretty annoying, like pretty good. Like, this is like a totally different kind of sound.
European siren. If you've ever been...
Huh. Is that better? Why would that be better? It's different. Does it, like, cut through the noise better? Or, I mean, it says that this is, like, scientifically proven to be better. So, is there something about, like, the actual pitch or the noise that's, like, human ears can hear it better, maybe?
To Europe, and especially anywhere near Birmingham, you'll recognize this sound, which is called the high-low siren, immediately. New York and other places in America are reportedly considering switching to the European siren, and this video is my manifesto as to why they should. Because while all sirens are unpleasant and interrupt and make me doom scroll Twitter for 30 seconds while recording audio, European sirens can be scientifically proven to suck less than New York and the rest of America's sirens.
Really? This is... Okay, hold on. Let's listen to this one more time.
I meant to play this.
So that's the American siren. It is annoying. it's like a high pitch, but it's very like it's sort of the same sound. Like there's not a huge variance in the pitches and frequencies and stuff, I guess. So I could see, man, I've never thought about that. I always thought like it's pretty noticeable, to be honest. Like if you're on the road, I guess if you're not paying attention at all, it could get lost in like the noise, especially if you're in a big city. But where's the European siren here?
European siren. If you've ever
You know? It's interesting. I mean, objectively speaking, I guess that does like because it's high low, it does jump out more in some kind of weird way. Like it's very unnatural, which is kind of the point, right?
immediately. New York and other places in America are reportedly considering switching to the European siren, and this video is my manifesto as to why they should. Because while all sirens are unpleasant and interrupt and make me doom scroll Twitter for 30 seconds while recording audio, European sirens can be scientifically proven to suck less than New York and the rest of America's sirens.
I mean, I don't have any ego about like if our siren is not as good, like if it would save more lives to have the European siren, then we should absolutely be doing that. I don't know why we're not. I just didn't even know that this was a thing that was different. I think most Americans have no idea that there's a different siren in Europe that could be better.
To understand why, you first have to understand a bit about sound waves. This is a sound wave. You can call him Wavy, although technically his full name is Waverton B. Dorado, here to the cool range fortune, but we'll stick with Wavy for now.
Okay.
This part of Wavy, his height, which you can call amplitude if you want to be fancy about it, determines how loud he is, which is measured in decibels.
Okay.
Both the New York and the European siren hit the same decibel level, 118, which by the way is more than the human ear should hear because our ears start taking on damage at about 80. The sirens will exceed it.
Okay, so it makes sense. Wow, they're really getting into it here, like the science, which is actually pretty interesting. Both of the sirens are very loud. That's like the first that, like, if you're gonna have an emergency sound that everyone is supposed to hear, it has to be loud. So both do that at least.
Because, I mean, it's an ambulance. They don't have time to worry about your health or safety. So the New York and European sirens are equally as loud, but the difference comes here, in their frequency, which we usually call pitch, mainly because Frequency Perfect 3 is a terrible movie title. We traditionally measure pitch in hertz, in honor of the world's third most mediocre car rental company, and the higher a frequency, the higher the pitch and hertz level. Here, I'll show you. As Wavy's frequency increases,
So is it just about having the higher pitch, or no? It seems to be about the discrepancy between high and low, having something that's very disruptive and odd, which the European siren seems to do better.
you'll hear the pitch go up. And this is the key difference between the New York siren and the European siren. The New York whale siren is traditionally between 600 and 1200 hertz, while the European high-low siren moves between 450 and 600 hertz.
So it's a much bigger variance. So the American siren is pretty high. Or does the high-low siren get higher and lower?
Meaning the European siren's highest pitch is only half the highest pitch of the New York siren.
Yeah, that's what. So the European siren doesn't go nearly as high-pitched as the American siren. I would have thought that would be most important. Loud and high pitch, because high pitch is like it's like a scream. It's like ear piercing, like. That they've scientifically studied this apparently, and I guess that's not what's the most important thing.
That's what makes it so much better. People generally perceive high-pitched sounds to be piercing and unpleasant. Think of a baby crying, or a mosquito buzzing, or Ariana Grande singing. So because the European siren is lower, most people find it less annoying. In addition,
why would you want it less annoying? Is this like an American way of thinking? I just assume you want the most annoying thing possible. Maybe if it's too annoying, you kind of block it out. Maybe you want it to be just the right amount of annoying, or maybe not annoying isn't the best way. Maybe just identifiable is the best way.
By alternating clearly and distinctly between the 600 Hz pitch and the lower 450 Hz pitch, the Siren offers listeners a clear respite from the siren's highest pitch, while the New York Siren's pitch change is continuous, so you never feel like you get a break. Now, you probably have 3 questions. First, if I rage comment something on this, will it boost the video's algorithmic performance? Second, are all people who eat cereal inherently evil? And third, considering it's less annoying, is the European Siren less effective?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. If the European Siren is less annoying, why is it better?
Well, the answers are yes, yes, and no. It turns out that European sirens are actually more effective than New York sirens, mainly because lower frequency pitches move further than higher frequency pitches. I guess that explains why I never get responses to my daily pitch emails to Netflix for a reality show about a towel factory, but to understand why lower frequency pitches move further...
What? Okay, I would never have thought of that. That's some science, like, you gotta understand all this audiology, frequency, how sound travels kind of stuff. The lower sound siren moves further? Like, people can hear it from further away? I would never have thought of that.
You first need to know that sound waves have to move through a medium. Given that the Long Island medium is normally busy with her TV show, sound most frequently has to travel through air. As sound waves travel, they're vibrating the particles in the air to transfer the sound, or energy, and because low frequency waves are, less frequent, they transfer less energy to the air particles than high frequency waves, thus running out of energy less quickly, and thus moving further.
Okay, so we accept, because of the science, the physics, the lower frequency European siren literally travels further in the air. You can hear it from farther away.
This principle extends to sirens, according to a study conducted in 2013 by a group of scientists who were definitely totally not wasting their engineering PhDs by studying the wee-woo machines. They found that a 40-year-old with average hearing could detect the New York Whale siren at a maximum of 249 feet or 76 meters, and a 60-year-old could detect it at 125 feet or 38 meters.
Oh, wow. Because I have to admit, I'm not 60 years old, but there have been times when I'm driving around and I really don't notice an ambulance until it's very, very close. And then sometimes I have trouble identifying where it is. Is that... Maybe this is the smartest thing to design a siren around, like being able to hear it from far away or distinctly, or rather than just the most annoying, but because you might not hear it quickly and you might not be able to identify exactly where it is.
For the European two-tone siren, those numbers were nearly doubled. The 40-year-old could detect it at 508 feet or 155 meters,
wow,
and the 60-year-old at 206 feet or 63 meters. So, in the end, when it comes to sirens, it turns out that the European way is just better than the New York way. However, the good news for New Yorkers is that, with the small exception of healthcare, infrastructure, social safety nets, paid family leave, criminal justice, rock and roll, silly hats, bread, cheese, football chants, life expectancy, singing competitions, and a medium-sized grouping of other things, America does absolutely everything else better than Europe.
I'm sure Europeans are gonna love that. Obviously, that's like a joke. I'm guessing an American made this video. Anyway, besides that, this was really interesting. And I thought I kind of was on, understanding what would make a good siren. No, I had no idea. That's why scientists and professionals should be in charge of this thing. A sound that you can literally hear further away. And I like how it alternates. Getting to hear the European siren was very interesting, actually.
This is a European siren.
Man, that's so distinct. You can't miss that. Like, and you hear it from further away, so you're ready quicker to react to it, which is probably why it saves more lives. Yeah, I mean, if this is true, I don't really understand why we don't switch all of our sirens to the European siren. I don't. What are we doing? Like, if scientists have determined that this is better, then I see no reason why we wouldn't change. Like, that means people are literally dying here that don't need to, that we're in more danger than we have to be. It doesn't make any sense. So it's just an example of like something that Europe or another part of the world is doing that sounds better, that we aren't adapting to or aren't acknowledging or for no real reason. So that's disappointing, but this was fascinating. I had no idea about this. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the different sirens and the sounds and the science. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.